And in fact, if we took the average time that I've waited for him and the average time he's waited for me, way ahead. Coming to you nearly live from the taproom floor of the Greenville Beer Exchange on South Lawrence Street in glorious downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Big John and Five, where I get my good buddy here, Big John Richards, who's our resident certified Cicerone, and he picks a beer from one of GBX's 22 taps or hundreds of cans and bottles in the retail store, which you can probably spot behind us there. We sniff, we sip, we kibitz. John tells us a little bit about the brewery. Sometimes we learn a little bit about brewing. And I'm tired of talking, John, and mighty parched. So what do we got?
Let's go. I got nervous because I think the person manning the shop stepped outside, and then I heard the doorbell, so I got all turn in, looking at stuff. Pardon me.
Every time you hear the doorbell ring, another drunk gets his wings. It's wonderful.
Yep, it's good times up in here. So we're drinking a Maibock today, which I think is going to be fun to talk about. Maybe.
I just like saying it,
yeah,
Maibock.
It's from Grimm Artisanal Ales up in New York, and I think they're in Brooklyn. I didn't think that I would know that, but
I think they are. I think I remember seeing that.
I think I just did all my homework and everything else.
It's
already gone. It's already gone. These guys, I do know, are still pretty new on the scene. They were nomad brewers like Evil Twin was for a while and various and sundry others. But they opened up a brick and mortar in 2018, it said. So they're still, relatively new on the scene, but they've been doing some really, really good stuff. Not least of which are some really good lagers like this. This is a fun beer. It's a Bock at its base. So it's a higher alcohol strength lager. Maibock, Mai is the German word for May. So it's always a beer that would be brewed in May that would kind of be the last beer in the brewing season before where it was too hot to brew for the rest of summer.
See, you learned something.
Yeah.
You learned something. See that?
So they would brew a little higher strength alcohol beer. They would store it. It would be kind of their summer beer, along with a few other things. This is a pretty bitter, bitey version for Maibock from Germany, I think. I didn't have much of it when I was over there because it was January.
It wasn't Maibock season yet.
It's not Maibock season. But the ones that I've had, I think have tended to be a little sweeter balanced than this one. But this one's, they call it a light but lingering bitterness on the description of the beer, which I think is probably right. It's just brisk enough on the finish. It's 6.5% alcohol, so it's got some heft to it as well. And I kind of, we used to always call Dead Guy. Dead Guy was a Maibock too. We always called Dead Guy an Americanized Maibock because it had that bitter bite on the finish. And it's been years since I've had a Dead Guy, but this reminds me of what I remember
You're
Dead Guy
close to
being.
one, though.
You're not dead yet.
Just snapping.
Right. So this was really fun. I really was pleased we got to put this one up, and we called it an amber lager up there, and it is. But as you can see, probably it's pretty golden. It's not super amber the way a lot of amber lagers are, and it's brisk and bright on the finish. But it's been a hit with me and with people that I've given it to. So I think it's still pretty palatable. I'm excited for you to try it too, just to see if you get the same things I do.
Well, let's see.
Let's do it.
Text Miss Lily.
There's some of that toffee right on the nose, that bread, fresh bread, like brioche and toffee.
I'm not picking anything up, really.
It's mild, and it's sitting right at the top of this glass, so there's not much place for the aroma to linger and gather. But I know what I'm smelling because I've had this beer before. I've had a pint or two of it already.
Not today.
Not today.
I
Yeah.
said that with loads of confidence, but I'm
I did beat Russ here today. He won't admit to that.
it's a red letter day. That does not happen very often.
Right.
Does not happen very often. And in fact, if we took the average time that I've waited for him and the average time he's waited for me, I'm way ahead.
That's correct. That's because I do all the heavy lifting.
He needs his beauty sleep so he can come
Indeed.
and wax
Poetic.
poetically about beer.
It's early in the day yet, folks. Give us a break. So you don't get that toffee, that real caramelized sugar thing on the very front of that now. 'Cause I'm gonna let you sip. I have this. It really is lingering with a woody kind of bitterness on the finish right now with me as I talk over it, but it's definitely got that rich toffee front end.
Yeah, it does. When the very first sip I took of it, the bitterness is what just hit me right between the eyes. And but now that I've gotten used to that's I've become accustomed to that. Yeah, I am getting the toffee.
Yeah, I mean it's the bitterness really is like I said, I feel like this is quite bitter for a Maibock, but it's not out of balance at all. I think that there's at 6.5, you want something to cut some of the sweetness of that beer, and it does, and it still lets you, when you take a sip, you still get everything disappears, all that bitterness is gone. You get that toffee sweetness and the bread and the front end of that. It's a neat beer, and I like it. I am a bitter beer drinker, so I brought it up when we started to say that the people I give it to seem to like it, because I taste this and I'm afraid to give it to a person who would like an amber because I think it would
This
be
is
too
not
bitter.
this is not a typical amber at all.
And I don't think it is. But most of the people who have tried it have been like, "Oh yeah, I want one of those. That's great. That's great."
It is good.
Because I think the balance is there, and that's something that I keep preaching that we have to maintain.
Right. Once I got a couple of sips of it and got past that initial bitterness, I could drink a couple of pints of this without a problem.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this has been my after work beer a couple of times already since we put it on, because
Yeah.
I just find it, even though it's a bit bigger on the alcohol, I find it so clean and bright and crisp and expressive that it just works really well for me.
I get even more toffee on the back of my tongue.
Yeah, that burnt sugar. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, that's about it. I don't know a ton about Grimm other than what I already said. I haven't been to their brewery, and I don't get a lot of chance to get up that way, but they're making some great beer. I'm glad to have this one.
Yeah, this is nice. Well, having said that,
Let's do it.
so damn lucky. See you next time.